Let's see what's next on the Doctor Who Marathon today then. David Tennant? Or should I say, the Doctor?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, that's a bit creepy now. Are we doing the thing from Blink?
Yep.
Next thing you know you're going to say is, are you going to read
read out the whole thing?
Okay, that's getting pretty scary now.
Yep.
Wait, is Blink real?
Afraid so.
No, we're not doing the whole Blink
I'm a
thing.
time traveller. Or I was, I'm stuck.
We are not doing the Blink thing. We are not doing the wibbly wobbly tiny...
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
We're not going... No. I am not doing around going to get chased by some stone statues who are going to suck me up to the dawn of time.
Quite possibly. Creatures from another world.
You can't hear me. You can't hear me.
Well, I can hear you.
And the Weeping Angels.
The lonely assassins, they used to be called. No one quite knows where they came from, but they're as old as the universe. Or very nearly. And they have survived this long.
Okay, this is getting really scary now. We're not doing the Weeping Angel things. We're not doing the Weeping Angels.
The moment they are seen by any other living creature, they freeze into rock. No choice, it's a fact of their biology. In the sight of any living
I've got a
creature,
terrible
they
reflex when it
literally
comes to my
turn
eyes, so I have terrible blinking, and if
Of course,
the Weeping
don't
Angel's
trust
here,
the
I'm going to
wire,
die.
turn your head away. And that's it, I'm afraid. There's no more from you on the transcript. That's the last I've got. I don't know what stopped you talking, but I can guess. They're coming. The angels are coming for you. But listen, your life could depend on this. Don't blink.
Please.
Don't even blink. Blink and you're dead. They
I
are
don't want to die,
faster than you
please.
could believe. Don't
Please,
turn your
Doctor.
back. Don't look
Please,
away.
I don't
and
want to
blink. Good luck.
Oh my god, it was just a dream. Thank God for that. Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about the one, the only, the legendary, the episode you've all been waiting for, Blink, written by Stephen Moffat and directed by Hetty MacDonald. This story, well, it's Blink. We all know Blink. It's one of the most popular, one of the most well-beloved stories in the entire canon, and it is considered by many to be the best Doctor Who story ever written. Like, I should just really make the videos like, Blink, go watch it, and end the video there. But I'm going to try and take a little depth into this. So let's talk a little bit like the behind the scenes, the making of Blink. Because what a lot of people don't realise, like with the previous Doctor Who story, Human Nature and the Family of Blood, this is an adaptation. Yes, Stephen Moffat originally had written a story called What I Did on Christmas by Sally Sparrow, which was actually published in the 2006 annual, Doctor Who annual, and it features the 9th incarnation of the Doctor trying to communicate with a kid also named Sally Sparrow, but there was no real monster there. I used to own that annual, and I have lost it, which is a crying shame. But yeah, Stephen Moffat wrote this story for the 9th Doctor originally. Now, when it came to Series 3, Stephen Moffat was given the opportunity to write a two-parter, the Dalek two-parter for the series. However, due to time constraints, his story was then pushed back, so that he was doing the second two-part of the series, and Stephen Moffat came up with this idea of a library being haunted by these angel creatures. The concept of Doctor Who in a library would play out in a later episode written by Stephen Moffat. However, Stephen Moffat also had to drop that one due to the fact that he was making his own TV program, its own show called Jekyll, a modern adaptation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So him and his relationship with Russell T Davies at that moment was not like on rocky ground. I mean, they, from what I can gather, they were still like huge friends, but there was Stephen Moffat felt incredibly guilty, and so he decided that he would offer himself up to write for the Dr. Light episode of this series after Love and Monsters, to which Russell T Davies was incredibly proud of the idea of the Dr. Light episode. However, because of it, because Love and Monsters was so well hated, like it was a slot a slot in the schedule that nobody wanted to write for, and Stephen Moffat basically was like, right, I'm sorry for messing you around with constantly all these shifting, so I'll make it up to you by writing that episode that nobody wants to write. And apparently, as soon as he finished his sentence, Russell T Davies just went, yep, okay, go, do the Dr. Light episode. I'm not bloody doing it this year. You go and do it. And also as well, according to Stephen Moffat as well, he wrote this extremely fast, and the production period in terms of writing was incredibly quick. In fact, he only wrote 2 drafts, and the second draft is what became the final version. Like, that is mental. This was just, like, this episode was made as an apology, and everything was building it up to be one of the worst Doctor Who stories, at least continuing on from the tradition. This was a segment of the series which nobody wanted. Nobody wanted to write a Dr. Light episode, especially when the only example that we had up to this point was this episode which almost killed the revived series, and nobody wanted it, and Stephen Moffat went, okay, I'll do it as a sort of punishment to myself for messing your time slots up. And we got Blink. We got the Weeping Angels. We got Sally Sparrow. We got Wibbly Wobbly Tiny Whiny because of an apology. How mental is that? Now, this story introduces us to the idea of Weeping Angels that would become a recurring monster during the Stephen Moffat era. However, from our chronological point of view, we've already met the Weeping Angels in the 5th Doctor story, Fallen Angels, for the box set Classic Doctors New Monsters. If you want to check out that vlog, you can find it on my channel if you're interested in that. So this is actually, from our point of view, the second time the Doctor has met the Weeping Angel. Well, I say meet. We never actually see him encounter a Weeping Angel in this story. It's all after the fact. This story won many Hugo Awards in 2008, like the year after. So yeah, it was 2008. Beating out Paul Cornell's story, Human Nature and the Family Blood. Just overwhelming of just how many like great stories were just coming out during this time, just after. And like this story was also number 2 as the best Doctor Who story in the Doctor Who polls. Around about the time this story came out, it was voted 2nd underneath The Caves of Androzani, which is that's a massive leap. And then for the 50th anniversary, it came 2nd only to Day of the Doctor. Think about that. The Day of the Doctor was the only story that beat it in the Doctor Who polls. And this story hardly has the Doctor in it. It's absolutely amazing, mental. I don't actually want to get into it, actually, because, like, all I'm just going to be is like, oh, this was great, this is great, this is it, this is great. And that's not really criticism, is it? That's not a review. I mean, I know I advertise these as vlogs, but I do my best to try and critique them as much as possible. So, like, shall we get into Blake, I guess? The pre-credit sequence is something which was ripped right out of the original story. Oh yeah, this is actually one of the few times where I actually have read the original narrative. It's just come to my attention. Sadly, however, like I said, I've lost that, but I can still sort of compare. But anyway, there's a scene that plays out very similar to like it was in the original text, only Sally Sparrow now is now a young woman rather than a kid. The actress who plays it, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but this like launched her career. After this, she was in movie after movie after movie. What's that one with Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio? The Great Gatsby? Is that it? The Great Gatsby? And so this launched her career. Being in Doctor Who launched her career. Just like that's what Doctor Who does. It's a platform where people can just boost out, like become vastly popular overnight. So yeah, I'm rambling on. I do apologise. But the scene is essentially she goes into this old broken house in here so she can take photos because she likes old things. Kind of reminds me of stuff that I used to do as a kid, breaking into like abandoned places just to have like a look, kind of have like that haunted house feel. And she notices that there's a torn in the wall and there seems to be something written behind it. She pulls the paper, the wallpaper, and it's like, beware the weeping angels and duck. Oh no, really, duck. And then she pulls more and it says, Sally Sparrow, really, duck. And she turns around, she ducks as a stone just misses her head. And she pulls out more of the wallpaper and it says, love from the Doctor, 1989. And that leads into our credits. What a way to introduce the situation. Like, that is just so, who comes up with that? That's just such a, Again, I think this will probably be a very boring video. It'll just constantly be me like, that's great, that's great, that's great, that's great. But the story is, that's great, that's great, that's great, that's great. And I think what's very great about this story is that it takes its time. Because we don't have the Doctor or Martha in this situation, it means that the tense situations, when we do get tense situations, are really intense because there's no Doctor shooting technobabble. There's no Martha. These are side characters in an average Doctor Who episode. They could easily end up dead by the end of the story. There's no fantastic knowledge or power that they have. They're not incredibly smart like the Doctor. They are just average people. Sally goes to meet with her friend and she learns about this Easter egg, the DVD, the clip which I got from in the start of the video, in which the Doctor's looking at the camera and it seems to be we're hearing half a conversation. And it's here where Sally gets introduced to her friend's brother. I can't remember what the brother's name is. That's terrible. But she's obviously shocked by this. She's horrified by this. So she invites her friend to go into the haunted house herself, where they look around and they notice a statue, a weeping angel statue. And Sally notices that, wait a minute, the statue was slightly closer than it was last night. It's gotten closer to the house. That's bizarre. And, it's this whole, how is my name on this wall? This house has been abandoned for 38 years and it's just sort of creepy and bizarre. And so they're puzzled by this. They're kind of freaking out, but, it's kind of funny in a sense until there's a knock at the door and there's a mysterious figure and we as an audience viewer don't know what's happening yet, and so this could be a villain. This could be the entity. This could be the Doctor's introduction into the story, but she opens it up and just finds an average man as her friend. Scared by this whole situation, decides to stay in the room, and she looks at the Weeping Angel, and thinking nothing of it, she blinks. While Sally Sparrow's talking to the guy at the door, and he's like, "Are you Sally Sparrow? Are you really? I'm sorry, I need some identification just to prove that you are who you are." And he's like, "Okay, I got this letter from you. I was told by my grandmother to come here at this spot in this place and hand this to a Sally Sparrow. And my grandmother is blah, 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 blah. But before that, she was Nightingale, which is Sally's friend's last name." And Sally's just like, "What? This is clearly a joke." And she can't find her friend anywhere. And we quickly learn that her friend has been sent back in time to in 1920s. And that she has lived basically a full life in the past. She is now deceased, but she has had a happy and enduring life. But this is freaking Sally out. It's like, no, you can't just go back in time and get trapped there. Like, that's messed up. And so it's like Sally doesn't know what to do. There's a scene now when she goes up the stairs. That scene when she goes up the stairs, that is just like one of the most, like, in terms of directing, like Hattie McDonald's directing this story it's perfect. It's undoubtedly perfect. There's a lot, it's really natural looking story, but when it comes to the creatures themselves, the Weeping Angels, then my God, does this story know how to direct them. There are scenes in which, like, you see him in the background with like their hands on their face, and then Sally Sparrow is like gets in front of the shot, and like in the background, like the story, like the episode doesn't actually focus on the director. It's like literally like in the background, you see that the angels have moved like that, and then like that is the speed of it, and the fact that like if you didn't notice it, you wouldn't notice it. It doesn't focus on it. And then when she turns around after picking up a key, which she finds in one of the angels' hands, but they cover their hands again, and the guy has abandoned her. That's a criticism I have, I guess you can say. I have a criticism with Blink. The grandson of her friend, he just like kind of abandons her, leaving all of the letters and stuff, and he just goes off, and we never see him again. Like, what was he doing? Like, surely he wants some answers as well. That was very strange, but it works in terms of the plotting of the adventure. And so Sally then teams up with, well, she doesn't team up yet, but she basically goes back to the brother character who works at a DVD shop, and she tells him, like, she's basically there to tell him about his sister, but, you know, she can't tell her because the truth is just so bizarre. So she just says, "Oh, your sister like misses you and stuff." It's here that she learns that this clip, the Easter egg, is an Easter egg, a secret feature on DVDs. As a fan of movies and stuff, and love the concept of these Easter eggs, and sometimes you can get some really disturbing Easter eggs, and it really like makes you shiver, because it's like they didn't put this in plain sight. They hid this in the DVD only for certain people to find it. It's like you stumbled on something that you shouldn't have. And the Doctor Who story actually tackles with Easter eggs on DVDs. That is just, I don't know why, but that makes me love this story even more than usual. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just a sucker. Maybe it reminds me of me because looking for these Easter eggs on these DVDs. Like, in fact, a lot of the classic Doctor Who DVDs have Easter eggs in them. You can find secret menus in which they leads you down clips which weren't available in normal views of the DVD. So I'm going on a rant tangent about Easter eggs, but the point I'm trying to make is, at least in the story, is that the Doctor has put himself on a certain list of films, and the Easter egg is like basically the exact same clip of the Doctor having this half conversation with someone. Sally, like, humorously tries to talk to it, but then the Doctor replies. He talks to her, and it freaks her out. And that freaks us out because we're like, how the hell is the Doctor doing this? Like, is he trapped in the DVD? Like, what's going on? Where is the Doctor? Why hasn't he not appeared yet? Is he trapped? Has he been captured by the Weeping Angels? Ooh. And it's here that she gets the idea to go to the police. And originally, right, you're going to go, right, we know what's going to happen. She goes to the police and she's going to get no answers. They're going to think she's a loony. They might lock her up. And we'll get that kind of cliche subplot. But no, she tells them like what's happening. First of all, they clearly don't believe her. But when she mentions where her friend went missing, it's like, hold on, wait a minute. And they send a detective who puts himself out of duty before investigating Sally. So basically he's off duty so he can flirt with her because he takes a liking to her. I believe the cop's name is Billy. The guy who goes, life is short, life is long and you are hot. He basically is a detective who is researching the disappearance. For 2 years, people have been disappearing there. People have been parking their cars out there and vanishing, never to be seen again. Some people have all their private belongings with their keys. Some of them even have the engine still on. But there's one other item that was left near the house, which was seemed to be abandoned there. A giant blue police box, the TARDIS. And we as an audience view, it's like, the Doctor doesn't have the TARDIS. He is trapped there. And Sally and this Billy character, they flirt around, and you can kind of see that like something nice is going on. But then when he turns around, when she's gone, he notices that there are, I think, 4 Weeping Angels trying to get into the box, but he doesn't know. It's like, this is really bizarre. It's like, how the hell did any of them get here? And of course, not knowing any of the situation, he blinks and gets sent to 1969, where he gets encounters with the Doctor and Martha. And the Doctor basically explains that what the Weeping Angels are. They are one of the most kindliest psychopaths in the universe. They don't kill you, they just send you back in time so you can live out your life. They are creatures of possibilities. They feed off the potential energy that you would have had if you continued your life in the way if you weren't getting zapped and back in time. So basically they rip you out of the space-time vortex, put you in the past, and they feed off the days that you would have had. And the Doctor is like, I need to get back to my TARDIS, so I need you to leave me a message for Sally Sparrow, and I'm sorry, it's going to take you a very long time. Sally realises that she's taken the key, and that could be the key to the police box. So she starts heading back, and Billy seems to disappear. There seems to be nothing there. The police box is gone, and the car the shutters to the car park are completely destroyed. And she gets a phone call from the hospital, as Billy has sent for her to come to meet them in the hospital. And when she goes to the hospital, she finds Billy there, but not as a young man, as a very old individual. And the conversation there is so beautiful. Like, they talk about like the days they would have had, like how Billy was trapped in time, how he befriended this man called the Doctor who wanted a message, something about the list, which, you know, it's part of the plot convenience, but they can build characters around this. The Billy and Sally have this absolutely like beautiful scene where it's like they're recollecting, despite from Sally's point of view, they've literally just met on the same day. this is the same day that they met. In fact, the rain outside is the same rain that when they met. And Billy is like, I'm sorry, but I can't be there for you to find out what the list means. I have until the end of the rain to live. When the rain goes, I die. And Sally stays there with him. And I love this. I don't know why, but I absolutely love the cut between her going, I'll stay with you until the rain stops, and then he's like, thank you. And then it cuts to like the floor, and there's complete silence, and the camera pans up, and you kind of get the feeling that like the rain has stopped, it's completely silent, and we as an audience member know what's happened. Without a word being said, we feel that weight on Sally's shoulders, and we feel what has just happened. Like, why is so much effort put into a Dr. Light story, into this? It's mental, it's bizarre. I'm pretty sure Stephen Moffat did not write this, especially, this is the guy who would write Hell Bent a few years later, and other episodes which are like completely the opposite of Blink. Like, I'm convinced that Stephen Moffat didn't write this. He did not write this. It's important to note that this is the story that essentially won him the role of showrunner when Russell T Davies left. Like, Stephen Moffat has been a showrunner for other shows like Jekyll, Press Gang, and other shows, and his writing on Doctor Who was so popular that when Russell T Davies decided to leave, it's like, right, he was such an obvious choice. Like, it's going to be Stephen Moffat. There's no other person who's going to take the mantle off me. So there you go, Stephen Moffat. You've basically won in this story. And so the final act is Sally reuniting with Nightingale's brother, who I guess is also Nightingale then. What is his name? I want to say his name is John, but it sounds really cliched. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, and they play the DVD on a portable DVD player where we get to hear the entire conversation, and it freaks our characters out. It's like, how are you hearing this? How are you listening to me? And then the doctor's like, well, I can't actually hear you, but I can read everything you're saying. Look to your left. And Sally turns to her left, and she notices that the guy, he's writing all of Sally's lines in between the transcript of the Doctor's dialogue. That's how he finds out. He somehow gets this transcript from them in the future, and then he gets trapped in the past, and he uses this transcript to get him back in the TARDIS. And I love the moment where it's like, the Doctor's just like, the transcript has stopped. I don't know why you've stopped talking, but I can guess. Whatever. And then he gives this warning. The warning that gives you chills. Don't blink. Don't even blink. Blink and you're dead. They are faster than you can imagine. So whatever you do, don't blink. Good luck. That scene is iconic, and just like so many scenes that I've mentioned in Series 3, it's one of those clips that just constantly is played out through trailers and fan-made edits. It's like, it's such an iconic piece. Don't blink, don't even blink. And like, one of Stephen Moffat's motifs, shall we say, something that he does quite a lot, is taking the ordinary and turning it into something scary. He's done it before with the children in The Empty Child and clocks in The Girl in the Fireplace. He would later try and do the same again with the thing at the corner of your eye, going into a room and then you forget why you've gone into the room. What's the other one? Snow. Like, that's like his thing. That is his style of choice. And here stone statues. It makes you afraid of stone statues. And another thing that Stephen Moffat is also, one of his cliches is the whole characters not noticing something before before something starts triggering. It's especially in Empty Child, where characters don't realise that there's like noise or something like in the background, and then it slowly clicks what's happening. And stuff like that happens here, like when the characters like they get distracted and it's like, no, I'll replay the DVD. It's like, what good will that do? You turned your eyes off the angels. So did you. And they look up, and this is the first time we see an angel with its fangs out, and it's like in frozen position like that, and it's horrifying. And that's the first time, and it's in the final act that we generally see a weeping angel like out to attack. And like blinking is just such a normal thing to do. Most people do it automatically. Most of the time we don't even realise that we do blink. I've blinked thousands of times in this video. I'm blinking now. And we get like one of the most infamous scenes in Doctor Who, in which the guy has basically got to have a staring contest with the weeping angel. He can't blink, he's not allowed to blink, but you can feel it in his face, the acting, the performance. Like, you could see his eyes watering up, and he's like, I really don't want to do this. Like, oh my god, like you could feel the fear in him, and you could feel the agony of trying not to blink, and his eyes are watering, and the fear and the tension at it. And it's like any moment now, without even thinking about it, he will blink, and when he blinks, the angels are going to kill him or send him in the past. You know what I mean? And that is such like a horrifying like image, and what makes this scene like really intense, which is unusual for one part, is that the scene takes its time. The scene lingers on this moment, like as Sally is going around the house trying to find an exit as they've locked the doors, like our characters is like staring down, and it makes your heart go. Literally, I was watching it, my heart was like this. It was like that. It was absolutely mental. So Sally goes down to the basement, and the guy follows her, and we find out that there are 4 angels, and they've got the police box underneath. And it's like, right, we'll just stare at them, we're going to be okay, now that there's 2 of us. But one of them they've noticed is pointing at the light. Why? Well, it seems like they've also got electrokinesis and can turn off light bulbs just by pointing at them. And so the light starts flickering, and we start panicking because we've seen what the angels do, but we never actually, like, we've seen the after effects. We know what they do. We see the torture it does to the families and the people that it leaves in its wake, but we never see him actually jump at. And so it's the first time where like the lights start flashing to the angels, you kind of see him move. It's like a rave effect, and because of the lights going off, they're like, and that's expensive. And they get inside the TARDIS, and the TARDIS starts shaking madly because the angels are outside and pushing the TARDIS back and forth, trying to break in. The Doctor has like this hologram, and it's like we can scan one of the DVDs will track to a certain location. So put the DVD in, and it'll take you on to this one trip. And now another criticism I have with this story, again, it's more of a nitpick. It's a nitpick. It's a massive nitpick. Like, I don't ever actually think about this. It's just now that I mention it, it's like, oh, that's actually kind of weird. How the TARDIS just kind of abandons Sally and the guy. Like, the TARDIS dematerializes without them. Like, how is that even possible? That's a bit strange, but it leads into this really intense scene in which it's probably the first time we see a dematerialization from inside the TARDIS, as the TARDIS walls start disappearing, and the angels kind of like fade in, and they're panicking, they crawl on, it's like, that's it, we're dying, and they hugging themselves like in fear. But then nothing happens. They look up and they're like, quickly, we need to keep looking at them. But they don't need to. The Doctor has tricked them. All the Weeping Angels are using their sight. They're visually looking at each other because the TARDIS was in the middle, but now the TARDIS is gone. So now they're constantly looking at each other. For eternity, they are now trapped. And the Weeping Angels are defeated. And that's basically the end of the story. We then cut to 1 year later. Fun fact, some versions of it, when it was aired, and in some of the Region 2 DVDs, it says 1 year later, but for some reason in other versions, like the North American release of this story, both in its aired and Region 1 DVD, that year 1 is absent. Why? I don't know, but it's just a nice little detail that I know. I don't know how it's on Wikipedia, if you want to know. And Sally is now running the DVD shop with the guy, and you can kind of get this impression that she is kind of obsessed with this story. It's like she doesn't understand, like, how did the Doctor know all this? She has everything. She's collected everything about these events. It's like, how did the Doctor know about this? And then through the window, she sees a car park, a taxi, where Martha and the Doctor step out, and Sally runs to the Doctor, and the Doctor has no idea who she is, and it's like, sorry, I need to go. And then she's like, it was me, I gave it to you. And she's like, right, you're gonna be trapped in 1969, and you're gonna need this. So I'm gonna hand you all this, and then you are going to this will help you get back. And the Doctor's like, okay, thank you. And then Martha's like, come on, we need to go. It's like, goodbye. And Sally holds the guy's the friend's hand, implying that they have a relationship, and they go back into the shop, and the camera pans up to announce that the title of the shop is now called Sparrow and Nightingale, which is a reference to some piece of dialogue at the very start of the episode, a nice little callback to the friend who vanished at the start of the story. And that's Blink, or at least that's the best I can do in this vlog format describing Blink. It's one of the best Doctor Who stories. You know it is. If you were getting into the new series, everyone would have told you to go watch Blink. It's that good, and it's so odd that one of the best Doctor Who stories of all time is a story which hardly features the Doctor and companion. It's a Doctor Light episode, but this story proves that the Doctor Light episodes can be fantastic. It can be a great doorway for creativity, and just shows like this story, like the scariness of the Weeping Angels, the character development of Sally Sparrow, the directing, the visual style, the atmosphere, the tension, the effects, the design of the angels, everything just seemed to plot into place and really make this story stand out as one of the best stories of the series. So there you go, that's Blink. So join me next time when Owen goes basically on a rage as he starts joining a sort of cult that captures and tortures Weeviles. Are the tortured team going to investigate? Are they going to stop this madness? Well, there's only one way to find out. So I'll see you next time for Combat. And I'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-da!